Whoa, yeah, that was an old picture. I don't know. My beard has gotten a little longer than yours lately, I think. But so thank you, Niall. Thank you, Mitra and OpenFin, for having us. My name is Jason Barris. I'm Senior VP of Developer Tools at Infragistics. And today I'm going to rifle through a bunch of slides. We have 10 minutes, and then I'm going to show a few demos. But I want to give everyone an opportunity to understand what Infragistics does. If you haven't heard of us, please go to our booth. In the break and afterwards, we have our Managing Director of EMEA here and our solution consultant. So see Vince or Kirill or myself will be here all night. But what we have is, of course, widgets for every platform. Tonight we're going to talk about Angular. So our Angular kit, as Niles mentioned, from Infragistics, has a grid, but it has a bunch of other things too. We have like 50 components, 80 chart types. We have a lot of things that help you build out the entire UX and experience. So this is just a sampling of just the UI that you get. And you might say, hey, why do you need all these widgets? There's a bunch of open source stuff. Well, because it works really well together with all of our products. So when we have custom theming, our product's material based, so you have material 6 with typography. We've actually extended that, so you get that benefit across all the widgets in our Angular components and directives. The grid itself is optimized for real-time, high-performance scenarios, lots of data, virtualized rows and columns, plus all the other things that matter when you're doing line of business applications. So column hiding, grouping, column pinning, whatever you want. Inline editing, combo boxes, Excel, multi-column headers, and we're continuing to improve this. So we're very aggressive, obviously in the grid space. That's what we've been doing for about 30 years, and Angular is where we spend a lot of time today. Other key controls, we just shipped a tree grid component, combo box drop down and other things, but again, this is really just to round out the entire experience that you need to build for your applications. We also have a full range of charts, business charts, polar charts, scientific charts, financial charting, you name it, we've got it. One of the cool things, as Niall said, we're all partners here and we all try to work with each other, is shipping in January, we're going to be integrated with Adaptable Blotter. So if you're using Adaptable and you've always wanted charting with that or some sort of reporting, you'll have that come the beginning of the year. So we're working with Johnny and his team on this. We're going to start out with a common set of category charts, but you'll get all the benefit of our charting in Adaptable moving forward. And then financial charting, we've done sort of a redesign UX on this product in the last 3 to 6 months. So it's super easy. You throw your data at this chart, you get all of the Chrome that you need for financial charting. So things like indicators and filtering by time periods and changing trend lines and things like that, and I'll show a quick demo of that. And then new to Angular, but something we've had in WPF and iOS and Windows Forms over the years, is our Excel library. So most of you guys care deeply about Microsoft Excel. You're always trying to get something into Excel or make something look like Excel. Well, we have 100% TypeScript Excel object model that you can run on the client without needing Excel. So for example, if you want to have grid data and you want to create a workbook, add worksheets to a workbook, do a bunch of formula stuff, then email it or open that Excel right live, you can do that. The 2 stars here are 2 new cool features that we just shipped last week, is Sparkline and charting support. So now you actually have all of the 70+ chart types available in Excel and all Sparklines based on data that you create. Now I'll show a quick demo of this. And then one thing is we get a lot of requests for React. So what we've done is we've taken our product, we've moved it to Web Component, and we will be shipping Web Components in React in December. So that means you get all these benefits no matter what real modern platform you're using. So I think we were at FinJS last time, Niall said that it was like 60-40 React to Angular. That number may go 5 or 10% in one direction or the other direction, depending on the day or who you talk to. So having that across platform from us will be important. So next time we come to FinJS, we'll be showing off that stuff. So let me jump into a demo real quick. And what my goal would be is to get everyone over to our booth to see this stuff, in a little more detail. But this specifically is a sample that we have online. I'm running it local right now just because the internet's slow. But what I want to show here is this grid actually has 10,000 rows, and I'm going to live update all the prices every 270 milliseconds. But what we've done with this grid is ensure that no matter how much data you push at it, no matter how many columns and rows, this has like 80 columns, is that you get the same smooth scrolling performance no matter what type of machine, and obviously it's Edge or Chrome as the browser. IE11 doesn't perform very well, but this example is something that you can come check out, and it's public on our website, so you can play with this as much as you want, look at the code and how we do it. But the biggest thing is you need high volume data, you need features like filtering, sorting, grouping, etc., and you need it to happen fast. We also have multiple theme support and a whole theming capability for the grid. So if you're Bank of America, you need red and white and blue colors, or your Citigroup and you need blue colors. All of that is completely possible with this grid. So we ship some default themes, and then you can go ahead and customize those themes. We have a native exporter, so I'm going to go ahead and just export this grid to Excel. So that just exported 10,000 rows. And when I mentioned Excel earlier about that TypeScript library, this is just using a simple XML template. So it's just taking the grid data, dumping it over to Excel. If we look at something a little bit more powerful from Excel, I'll go here, and let me jump over to this demo here. This is a simple grid on the bottom, then we have our chart. This is our angular chart. And I'm going to go ahead and export this file to Excel and open it up. And what you'll see is that we exported not only the data into a table with all of the filtering and capability that you get in Excel, but also the chart. And you know this is a real chart in Excel because when you select it, all of the data that makes up the chart is highlighted. And if you go to chart design, you can go ahead and customize this any way you want. So if you've ever needed to do any sort of dashboarding or reporting on the client, you don't really want to care about Excel, this is actually a really good way to do it. Now, if I minimize this guy and this guy here, oops, let me go back to my demos here. Same with sparklines. So this is an example of doing sparklines. And this sample is pretty cool as well because what we're doing is the sparklines are actually being generated off of this data in another sheet. So this sheet data is actually generating the sparkline based on an ID for this column data. So if you need any type of visualization like this and you don't want to have to customize this and do your own custom reporting, you can do all this with a simple API. If we take a look at the API for this guy, actually this is the API for just the basic Excel to chart example. When I mentioned that you can create anything on the client without needing Excel, basically we have an object model that allows you to create a workbook. And in this case, we create a new 2007 workbook. We support Excel 2003 and up. So you can do Excel XLS, Excel XM, Excel SX. So there's a bunch of different formats that you can do. So in this case, we have functions like set cell value. So you're getting data and you want to pump it into a cell. You can loop through your data. You can decide how to create tables, how to create named ranges, and pump all that in. But this is where it's pretty interesting, is we just have an add chart method. So the add chart method allows you to choose the type of chart type that you want to generate and then pass whatever named range is in your Excel file that you just created to that, and it just magically appears. So the API is extremely simple. There's not a lot of work to actually do some fairly complex things with the product. And if I go back to our demos, I want to show you some other new features that we just shipped. So this is what we call the category chart. The category chart basically has one numeric and one string axis, so there's always like a categorical data on the bottom. But one of the things we did was we added annotation layers on crosshairs that let you see what data you're looking at, and then we added things like callouts, and final value annotation. So based on your data, you can annotate things as they render in the chart. And you also have this in the financial chart. So the financial chart, like I mentioned earlier, let's enable final value, enable callouts. You get the same capability. I'll enable both horizontal and vertical crosshairs, the same capability in the chart. And this is all touch-friendly, zoomable. I'm using a Mac today, so I don't have touch. But you get super high performance. This chart, we can render 3 million data points in like 4 or 5 milliseconds. So we've optimized this for real-time high-performance data loads. So that is it. My watch just beeped. I'm running out of time. So I tried to show a lot in 10 minutes. What I want to highlight is We have offices all over the world. So, we're in Tokyo, we're in London, we're in New York, we're in New Jersey, we're in South America, we're in Eastern Europe. So wherever you guys happen to have offices and wherever you need help, we have technical people, we have salespeople, we have all kinds of folks. So please come over to our booth and take a look at some of this stuff today, and thank you very much.